Hello and welcome everybody to Radical Action Circles, where we are building a collective of people-powered, justice-demanding peace warriors. Today is not February 20th. I did not update the date on there. Today is February 27th, and this is Gathering 3 of our February Radical Action Circles cycle during Black History Month, where we are focused on anti-racist action. And today we'll be focused on making decisions. It is the full moon today, the full snow moon. And this is the time of the month where we release and seal our intentions for our actions. As a review, our work and our guiding principles, every month we have a podcast called Tipsy Unicorns in partnership with Beautiful Humans, the Social Change Cast. And then following that podcast, we have weekly Radical Action Circles during which we provide a vessel for emerging activists to learn and grow. And we're all focused on following our 3-step plan to fucking listen, be radical, and take action. We are all here and all committed to our NOMO AO challenge, where we're dedicated to dismantling systems of oppression, supporting each other in learning, flipping the script on our concerns, and really focused primarily on getting things done. Today's Radical Action Circle, we're in the third gathering of our cycle, and this is the time of the month, like I said, that we are sealing and releasing our intentions. We'll work together to collectively make decisions about actions we could take at the me, we, and us systems levels, share our perspectives regarding the next right actions for ourselves, our families, and our communities. As a review of our agreements, we always share our stories in a way that protects, lifts, inspires, and empowers others. We listen for understanding. We're committed to learning and unlearning. We pause to regather our thoughts or focus when needed. We gather gems or quotes, which are harvested by our scribes. You have no obligation to participate. You're always welcome to pass when the turn comes to you. And we use sound verbal behavior when we speak. This month, our honored guest is Camille Morgan. She's the founder of and host of Love, Sex, and APA, the director of Diversity Inclusion for Black Women Worldwide, and her intersectional identities are that she's Black, cisgendered woman, lesbian, and a military spouse. Today, and when in our kind of listening section of our circle, I'm actually going to play for you a section of the podcast in which Cami responded to our guiding questions. So our overall cycle, our 3 guiding questions that we focus on are how our honored guests have personally experienced oppression in their lives, what self-liberation looks and feels like to them, and what they see as the path towards collective liberation. And these are the pieces that we utilize, pieces of the story that we utilize to further our action. So I'd like to play for you the first 8, or the Cami's responses to these questions, which is about 8 minutes in length. Questions that we have are, how have you personally experienced oppression in your personal and professional life? The second is, what does self-liberation look like to you? What does it look and feel like? And then finally, what do you see as the path forward towards collective liberation?
So as far as like my marginalized identities, I'm Black, I'm a lesbian, I'm also a cisgender woman though. So I carry a shit ton of privilege, but simultaneously I definitely am oppressed. every time, for example, especially being a military spouse, people automatically assume that I have a husband, and it puts me in this position of like, do I out myself? Is it safe to out myself? Do I kind of put myself back in the closet, or just kind of like passively laugh it off? Like, what do I do? Um, and it's not always easy, especially because there I have a learning history that, I mean, I couldn't even like legally get married until like 2014. You know what I mean? But what's so interesting about that identity is that it's so highly reinforced that I feel less fear, for example, about disclosing that. But when it comes to my Blackness, something that I am extremely proud of, something I am extremely radical and committed to as far as Black liberation, um, I don't, that same treatment isn't there. Um, and what that usually kind of looks like is, people are like, hey, Cammy, or like maybe they see me on social media or whatever. But then when they see the kind of stuff that I'm posting, there's first of all, there's like this differential kind of rate of responding or even engagement, such as like likes, comments, whatever, um, in these posts. And then like my for example, like Black specific post. Um, Most recently, I think professionally, and that's honestly just like a very small example. I think just being Black in America, I've definitely have experienced um, just, I mean, out just downright hate and downright racism. Um, I think I recently had my dad on the show, and I was raised by somebody who was born in 1955, who experienced severe oppression. My grandmother literally did maid work like they did in that movie, The Help. I have a long line of um, legacies of people who have survived racism. And I think for me, I'm with you where I'm just like, we can't keep on doing the same thing and expecting different results. And I think it's very hard, I think, especially for people who are like in my generation, because we were taught that what was better than like that more quote unquote like overt racism that like my father experienced and his mother experienced was this like erasure of identity. This, I don't see color. Black is a bad word. Say African American. Like, don't, don't say the N word in public, but feel free to say it in private. Feel free to rap it and sing it like when singers and rappers are saying it. And then how this looks professionally is again this erasure. And we are kind of questioned, I think, every time, especially we bring our Blackness to the forefront, that I can truly say I am not questioned this way when I bring up my lesbian identity. Recently, I experienced racism by a couple of different behavior analysts in various Facebook groups. And even that, like having to kind of tact it as like, you all understand this is anti-Black, but because it wasn't, for example, them like calling me the N-word, or because it wasn't them explicitly saying like, I can't believe this Black girl or this Black woman is saying or doing this. It was almost like I had to convince certain people, like, do y'all see, like, this is exactly what I mean. This is not even nothing about this is micro, but I guess if you had to try to like scale it or identify it or operationally define it, it would maybe fall under like the response class, I guess, of a microaggression. But like, this is insane, and these are by people who have Black children. These are by people who have Black clients. These are by people who are in my inbox all the time, telling me about this white guilt that they may have, as they're going through whatever this so-called awakening is that they are. And for me, it's exhausting because number one, I don't have, and I've never had the privilege or the luxury to not know what racism is like, be it professionally where I'm called the N-word by clients, or be it, personally where I have, been called that in real life, but also just experience just more of the severe oppression as far as really being actively taught continuously over the last 31 years of my life to hate myself, to hate my brown skin, to wish that I was more fair skinned like my mom, to have to explain to white people like what racism is. And it's exhausting. Um, and I think for me though, a part of my personal liberation is really learning how to balance my energy. I think for me to be liberated, it has to be an act of self-care and really kind of gauging my mo. And so there are times where I'm in conversations with people and my mo is literally only to make them think. I don't think they're going to act. I don't expect them to engage in any kind of action. Again, I just want to raise their consciousness even just a little bit. I want them to see something. I want us to look at the exact same thing and be like, like this is really really gendered. Let's interrogate that. Or like I'm only using black names when I'm doing a staff training for problem behavior. Let's interrogate that, or whatever the case may be. I just sometimes want people to think. But then yes, my mo oftentimes, or other times I should say, may be to really kind of connect with people that are willing to do the work. um, I thank God for the connections that I've made over the past year. I think I've connected with a lot of behavior analysts like you, like my BAMF admin, co-admin Gabriella and Amber, like Aaron, like Denisha, like Kristen, and so many others that number one keep me accountable. I am not perfect, and I never. I'd never believe that. I pray I never come across that way. Um, and we're all, I think, just so culturally humble. And I think for me, it's like for my liberation is about that, because I can't be liberated if my sisters and brothers aren't either. And I want to create an environment and a better world so that my niece and my nephew and my godkids don't have to go through this shit. But I know that like you said, that can't happen without action. So sometimes I just want your action to be engaging in a private event that simply just makes you think. Other times I do want you to act. Other times I am going to call you out. Other times I am going to call you in. Sometimes, like Denisha said, I believe on her status a few days ago, I am going to cancel you. But I also can recycle you. And it's all about, for me, figuring out how all of us kind of can align better with this value of intersectional liberation. Um, and I think once we can do that, and once we absolutely commit to continuously doing that, this world will be a better place.
Committed action, right? Questions. So the next, we're going to take a moment now to engage in a little bit of silent reflection. And in the past gatherings, we have actually listened to a song while we were engaging in some silent reflection. But I have been listening to this book, This Will Be My Undoing by Morgan Jerkins. And in the chapter 9 is of that book is called How to Survive, a Manifesto on Power and Peace. I wanted to just play the first 5 minutes of that chapter. So as we're kind of reflecting upon what we heard from Camille in her response to those questions, we can start to really kind of think about how this all fits together. So I will play for you that while you take some moment to either just silently reflect to yourself or in writing, and really begin to think about kind of how you can use what you have learned to refine the action plans that we are going to work on throughout this gathering.
9. How to Survive, a Manifesto on Paranoia and Peace. 1. When you wake up in the morning, thank God, the universe, or the ancestors that you have been able to see another day. Before your day begins, understand that you opening your eyes again in this world is a triumph in and of itself. Celebrate yourself before you remove yourself from bed, and know that whatever happened yesterday did not kill you, although it might have tried. Your breath may be uneven, and your legs may be on the verge of giving out from under you before your feet touch the floor, but you are here. If you can, stretch your arms out towards the ceiling, or stretch your smile from one side of your face to another, because this time is the only time you have to yourself before you step out your front door. This is your safe space for self-adulation. Let the praise of yourself lather all over your skin like ointment to prepare you for the world. 2. Once you stand in front of the mirror, do not touch your hair and face yet. Just look at yourself. What do you see? Do you see your mother's eyes or your father's nose, your grandmother's widow's peak or your grandfather's skin? Do you see the ancestors' blessing upon your brow, how their travailing has brought you into existence? Submerge yourself in your beauty. Do not question. Do not filter. Do not judge. Only experience the essence of yourself like a current. Do not impede it with a dam that is there only to diminish just how beautiful you are. Recognize yourself. You are the only person staring back at yourself. Remember this reflection before you leave it, because that is the woman you should endeavor to be mindful of first and foremost, before you shame your lineage by comparing yourself to anyone else. When you part your coils or curls, shape your fade, buff out your afro, or run your fingers through your strands, move in the direction that feels the most natural to you. You may work in an environment that tries to tame this part of yourself. That is okay. This moment is even more important for you. 3. As you step into the shower, close your eyes and let the water roll down the nape of your neck to the backs of your legs. Water cleanses. Not only must you wash the sweat from your body, but also the energies of other people with whom you both did and did not interact the day before. Because you are both black and woman, people want to transfer their energy to your body in hopes that will help them, since the body that you're in relays to them that you are always available. Scrub in and around all of your crevices so that no spot can be left untouched before you step out. 4. Clothes. Are you worried that a little bit of leg will make the aunties lightheaded even if the only time you see them is at church or at family gatherings? It won't. They have seen much worse in their days, and they probably have done this themselves. Do you wrestle with the fear that the hint of your breast will have spectators brand you with whore? Wrestle no more. They already do. No matter which article of clothing you place over your body, you will have someone think of you as a slut. There is no stitch of fabric that can shield you from them thinking that your body is always available. This is not your fault. It's not because you had sex outside of marriage and everyone knows it. It's not because you let a boy fill you up in middle school when he did not make a commitment to you. It's not because you touch yourself at night. This is an injustice that has been tailor-made for black women like yourself. You just were born into this framework. However, now is not the time to feel defeated before you leave your home. You put on those Daisy Dukes if you want to. You wear your family earrings or that skirt you feel was not designed with anyone else in mind but you. For what others think of you is none of your concern. 5. Here comes the hardest part, stepping out your front door. Before walking too far away from your doorknob, close your eyes. Breathe in the open air and let that fill your lungs to their fullest capacity. You're going to need every particle of it, for there will be people who will want to take your breath away in the most unromantic sense. Now you are on the outside of your home. You are susceptible to any and everything. At least on the inside, you can turn off the TV, computer, or radio if any content becomes too much. On the outside, you do not have this option, so now you will be able to gauge if your self-adulation in your safe space was either enough or insufficient to prepare you for the story of today. Remember your reflection. Remember the way you touched your hair. Remember the water beads purifying your body. Hold on to that like a boat to an anchor. 6. As you walk to wherever you have to be, do not lower your head to anyone. They are not your God. You are not their children. You still exist in this world, and that should be a source of pride, not shame, for you. Reject that quiver of fear or intimidation you feel towards someone whose society esteems more than you. If this quiver is more like an undulation, you will have to work harder to keep it from infiltrating your mind. This is the daily battle that black women have to face. This centuries-old lie that we are less than when we have been here and will continue to be here before and after everyone else. If you have not settled with this fact, do it now. You are more than enough. Do you not realize that everyone wants to be you? You have been imitated throughout time and space. You are the arbiter of innovation. When you walk down the street, hold your head high, knowing that what others feign to have, you were organically born with. And they are mad about it because no matter how hard they try, they will never be able to fully consume all that you are. There will always be some part missing, and they recognize this whenever they see you. Regale in this glory. 7. You are not paranoid. When a non-Black person is complimenting you on your eloquence and presentability only because you adhere to the norm, this is not a compliment at all, but a salute to white supremacy. You passed their test, not your own. We imbue all of our interactions with both implicit and explicit biases. You are being complimented because people do not expect that from you. They don't expect anything from you but a damning statistic. They treat your presence as a cesspool into which they can pour their insecurities because they know their self-doubt cannot be found in your body because the world could not give any less of a damn about you. You are not paranoid. When a non-Black person reaches to touch your hair before asking, they are participating in a centuries-old tradition of conceiving of you as an object, an outlandish thing in the museum of everyday life. You are a spectacle. Dismiss those foreign hands, protecting yourself and your space. You are not public domain. They want to touch you because they are in awe of you, but do not be fooled. This is not a compliment. This is a learned trait of our environment, to touch what we think will not resist, or what we've conditioned to not resist. 9.
So now that we've done a little deeper listening specifically to Camille's words in response to our guiding questions for this group, and then also the words of Morgan Jerkins in her book, which I definitely encourage you to get in and read or listen to if you have not. At some point, add it to your list. I know we all have lots of things to read. What I'd like to do is take a round around the circle to reintroduce ourselves. We can do a quick introduction, and then we'll do a round to really share kind of what we heard and any additional reflections that we made with this new set of words that we've heard, and what questions we might have, or how it set with us. Okay, so I'd just like to say that I am Abby. I am currently residing on the land of the Tlingit Ani, of the traditional homelands of the Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian people. And I'm here to learn and unlearn and actively work to end our very deep and real systems of oppression that negatively impact everyone in this world, some much more than others, in the service of guiding us towards collective liberation. And I'll pass to Alex.
Thanks, Abby. I'm Alex Weisenfels, eccentric existentialist philosopher and applied concept engineer, and I reside in Madison, Wisconsin, originally settled by the Ho-Chunk people. And I am here to help people communicate with each other so that we can understand what is at stake for everyone, and therefore work together to build a world that we can all be proud of. And I pass to Carly.
Thanks, Alex. I am Carly. I am a board certified behavior analyst and an OBM practitioner, a woman, wife, and daughter. And let's see here. I would like to acknowledge the original peoples of this land. I am in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The Sandia Pueblo and the Navajo Nation have ties and stories on this land within the broader community that are connected within New Mexico. I am here because of my values, health and wellness for all, empathy and impact. And I would like to become an ally to dismantling systems of oppression and learn how to take action to reach that goal. And I'll pass to Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa Santacroce. I'm also in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as Carly said, settled by Navajo Nation and many pueblos, including Sandia Pueblo. My pronouns are she, hers. Sorry. And the reason I'm here is because I would like to show up to learn more and listen more and understand more about systems of oppression, and so that I can be as conscious as possible about those operating around me and what I can do to share my privilege and platforms with people who are marginalized and help center their voices.